Good morning, Sean Callagy, Morning Mastery. It is Why Wednesday. We're back with my friend and brother here, Mark Wachansky. We are so thankful, celebrating the fact that the first payment of our Odyssey has come in, related to this incredible journey.
Believe it or not, the verdict was 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
People have thought that I've gotten this done 2 years ago.
I know.
It's
Incredible.
been a long wait.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
We met almost 8 years ago, right? And so we've been through this Odyssey and journey, which we talked about on Trajectory Tuesday. Please check out that video from yesterday. But why Wednesday is all about, Mark, as you've seen in our videos, is what drives us in that driving force. And when I first met Mark, it was in a place of incredible darkness. But we met a few months before that, and we kind of didn't click because Mark was in a place of building his business and growing, and I was really much more in a place of coaching my kids' teams and doing that sort of thing, and not wanting to grow the law firm so much back in 2010. And so when I hear about Mark's troubles and challenges, and I go out to see him through his father-in-law, George, who we love very dearly, George, it was very difficult for me to want to get involved. I didn't want to get involved. I did because I cared, but I didn't because I understood what it was going to do to my life. But at the end of the day,
I think you were the only person who saw what a real mess it was, too.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And this is like April of 2011, and what Why Wednesday is about for you is what drives you forward. And I wanted to quit so many times. I wanted to quit at the end of 2012 when we had a horrendous process in state court. And I'm not a big fan of pulling punches. I think that judge should be ashamed of himself. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that, but I don't really care. I'm ashamed of himself for what he let transpire, what he looked the other way on. And it seemed like it might be over. And at that point, you and I were driving to the airport. And I remember saying, like, I can't let this end this way. So, remember that conversation we had?
If I can take over even for a moment, because I say this all the time, and I said it yesterday, that I couldn't find another lawyer between Arizona and here that would do the things that Sean did, because Sean literally said to me, he goes, in fewer words than this, you're in a boatload of trouble. He goes, and I don't know how you're going to get out of it, but I'm not going to let him do it to you. And I'm sticking by you through thick and thin. And that meant things that I never imagined, and no other lawyer would do it. There's a lot of lawyers out there that really put Sean down. Everybody seemed to have their own plan. I had people tell me that I don't know what I would do, but I know I wouldn't do what Sean Callagy did. But everybody had this criticism, but nobody seemed to have an answer. And Sean would say to me, sometimes I would get upset. It would take, this is a long waiting process. The system.
We had plenty of fights and arguments along the way.
Yeah, and I would say to him, look, this guy says you're doing something wrong. This guy was, really high up in politics in Arizona. And he'd say, okay, if I am doing something wrong, ask him what he would do different. And nobody had an answer for me. So I continued with Sean's plan, had total blind faith because I sure didn't know law, and I can't be happier with the end results, not just from a legal standpoint, which is incredible, but that's almost irrelevant. He got me my life back, and a personal standpoint, and on track as a person that I really adore.
And thank you for those kind words, but and what I want to share is that it's not even about me. It's about the fact that I had a vision and got really deep into asking myself the question, what is my life all about? And I saw somebody whose life was getting ripped away from them completely. And I said, if I can't jump in and go all in on this, then what am I even doing in this profession? And so the question for you is on a Why Wednesday, how do you find that? And here's the tricky part. Sometimes we think we need somebody's, this great drama. And this was a great drama. And this was something that was incredibly compelling. But at the same time, I thought about trying to prove something to my children about what the justice system is about. And I thought about how, for all of us, every day, the challenge of just being consistent, loving, and caring. We had tons of conversations about so many other things. And you helped me. You helped me see things. You inspired me. You drove me. And so my question for you is, thank you for those beautiful words, but you never gave up either.
Yes.
You never packed it in. What kept you going? Why is the emotional fuel that keeps us going? What kept you going to make it all the way through to the end of this 7-year odyssey when everything was against us so much of the time. Politically, corruption, insane things that we dealt with along the way that we overcame. What kept you going?
Well, I think about that a lot because it really was hard. I spent days driving in my car, and before I knew it, it was 7 in the morning, and before I knew it, it was 9 o'clock at night, and I just drove in circles, and it was really hard times. I had a stomach ache, I think I just said, for 8 years straight. And I remember saying to Sean, I was so thankful when you had said, I'm not going to let you down. And he did. And I said to him, and I said to a couple other people, I will make you one promise. No matter how this turns out, I will make sure that at the end of the day, you will say, whatever we did for Mark Wachanski, he gave us back 10 times over. And I have a long way to go. I think Sean and I have some mutual whys ahead to make some changes even in the world, not just in the legal system. And I know we're going to be able to work on those in the future, and those are my whys.
And the key of what you just heard is that for both of us, getting through this wasn't about ourselves. And it wasn't about me winning. And listen, I certainly trumpet our achievement, right? And I'm proud of it. But it wasn't the idea of getting that trophy, and the trophy being the jury verdict and being a top 100 verdict and all those things. That was a beautiful kind of sidebar, just like people win the Super Bowl. It's not about the trophy. It's not about that day. It's about who you become in the journey. And when I look at my children, knowing that I could always say to them, the system works if, right, everybody cares and goes all in. And friendship works, and love works, and caring works. And we've said some really horrible things to each other along the way, right? We've been sad, we've been down, we've been despondent. But at the end of the day, when you're attached to that core why deep down, Mark's desire to give back and match the energy we gave to him, that's what really it's all about. So for you on this Why Wednesday, Mark, thank you so much for doing these videos and taking your time to do it. You know, you're want to get moving and get going, and I want to get you moving along. But thank you for agreeing to do it, because I think we can help so many people by sharing these messages. You helped me so much in my life. Hopefully, I've done the same for you. It's about mutuality. What is your why? And if you're like, I don't have anything like that, this guy built a company out of his bedroom. I started and built a company on my credit card, and we had very different whys then. It wasn't the same drama of this escapade, but we found ways to move forward. We found ways to conquer our fears. Right? How afraid were you? Last 30 seconds. How afraid were you when you started your business? And you're going to big companies. You're 15 years old. I probably looked like I was 17 when we were in our mid to late 20s. How did you overcome those fears? What was your why then?
I went on the first sales call ever for MGA, and I was wearing a suit my mom had bought me for college interviewing. I looked like I was 15, and a group of, I don't know how old they were, but I knew they were men and I wasn't. And these group of engineers came in and walked around this big table, which they flew me in for, and I asked some questions off of a yellow sheet of paper, and one of the executives had said, who brought the Cub reporter? And one by one, the executives in the company started walking out of the meeting, and I was sweating.
So you're feeling embarrassed, rejected, right?
Do you know the term shaky voice? I'm sure you do. We've experienced.
Yeah, our one lawyer friend knows in this case for 5 minutes had shaky voice.
I had shaky voice in the meeting, and I would say this, that I left and I said, I am not meant for sales. I will never, ever go on a sales call again. And that was in 1994, and I've been in sales ever since. So.
Yeah, and the guy was making a fortune out of his apartment, doing incredible things, teaching people, influencing, built a massive company, helped build another massive company, both of which were incredibly successful. So Mark, Why Wednesday is about finding that fuel and energy. I'm so happy we met, did our thing. Love you, brother, again. I'm going to hug you at the end of every video that we do. And find your why, right? Dig deep. Thanks.